I'm that girl who understands about life contracts, which is interesting because I didn't know such things existed.
I'm the girl with 800 questions about said life contracts.
Perfect. Perfect. And so each time we live our life, before we do it, we plan for the experiences. So remembering that the third dimensional life planet experiences for this lifetime is about exploring all the range of emotions and being able to overcome them ideally. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Here's the big question when I've tried to explain this before: free will versus life contracts.
Easy. Easy. So life contract is all of the wish lists of what we want to do. Sometimes we add on to them. Sometimes it is not possible to have all of the life contracts that we've signed up for. So, say for example, someone had an early exit point. Our contract and our experience with each other will not be able to occur because of their own free will. So it's not set in stone, so it's not our destiny all predetermined and written, because we still have free will to ignore all of our guides and all of our life purposes and all of our responsibilities and try to live our best life and joy with all that density we have collected because we're not of service. And it's like we have this plan. It is like if I imagined if I was trying to knit something and I'd have like this recipe and this plan of how to knit, and at the end of me knitting, I would be so off purpose and path. It would be this gigantic knot of hell where I wouldn't be able to even like wear it, and it would just be like that thing. And I think so many people have this planned, printed out hope wish list of how they're going to live their lives, and somewhere along the way they get so stuck with an emotion or a trauma or a trigger that they can't overcome it and grow and learn from it. It's just too much. It's too much of a shock for them. And so our guides are constantly looking at what we are supposed to be doing with this life contract and what we wanted to sign up for and why we're living these lives now. And so many people have had so many fantastic lifetimes on this planet that they've only just wanted to master a few extra ones that they sort of didn't, they wanted to do better, they wanted a different opportunity to explore. And so that's why you place these things on your wish list. No one's forcing you to go and learn X, Y, and Z and all this stuff. This is what our own personal soul journey experience and growth is all about. This is why we have free will. We get to choose what we want on this life in our life contracts, and we also get to choose how we will go about it. Of course, our teams know the difference between our wants and our needs. And sometimes when we've forgotten who we are and what we were supposed to grow and explore and experience on this life, they will guide us lovingly back into a good pattern and not a hot mess that sometimes we can create for ourselves. So contracts are very helpful because it kind of writes all the lessons and experiences that we want to attain. And when we go back and when we regress clients to other lifetimes, the subconscious can tell us very firmly those lessons, those experiences, the purpose of those lifetimes, which can be very helpful for those people trying to figure out, why don't I have a perfect life this lifetime, what I would perceive as perfect? And the subconscious will be like, oh, they've already had so many perfect lives. They want the challenging ones now. And so, yes, many people bravely have signed up for challenging lifetimes because they haven't had those experiences. They want to master these experiences. So, it's very purposeful. Everything is beautifully well designed. It's just sometimes we forget.
Yeah. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the QHHT practitioner, but like star seeds in particular, maybe volunteers, like they saw the menu and they ordered one of everything. And it just seems like that was quite the wish list you got there. It seems like a lot. Am I wrong or am I right?
You're correct, because they've had many different experiences and many different 3D planets. And so part of do you have like guides, or you have the scouts, right, where you have that like sash and you have all of those like accomplishments and things?
Mhm.
And I kind of think about, our life, our biggest soul life contracts have got all these like little stickers of everything we've achieved, and we want to complete it all for ourselves. We could choose to have imprint lives to be able to experience certain things, but there is something unique and special and significant about personally experiencing all of those experiences. That's the richness and uniqueness of living in a physical body, in a physical world. And when we are higher dimensional beings who have broken away from source, this is amazing. This is great opportunities, because many times when I ask in sessions and the subconscious says, ugh, they're so bored of fantastic lives. They wanted this experience for the challenges. And I know the clients, like, I'm so overwhelmed with this life. This is so impossible. This is so
Yeah.
challenging. And I'm asking the subconscious, the master guide, how are they doing? Because they're really struggling. And the subconscious is like, great, it's all these lessons and experiences. And, from their perspective, their higher dimensional perspective, all is well, unless we loop and go off path. And that's when you get your team's attention fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, for example, like we talked about this recently, the client of yours with the eyesight issues,
Yeah.
that they took that offline until she went back on. But I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong here, there were a lot of nudges, very strong, firm nudges along the way. Like, you have to just get to that point, right?
Hundreds of nudges, hundreds of maybe, I mean, you can the universe is constantly giving you messages and signs all the time. Do we acknowledge them or do we ignore them? That's sort of the difference. And then sometimes we can get really profound epiphanies, profound dreams, and we want to dismiss it. Oh no, it's not real. A dream's not real. That sign from the universe can't be real. And so I know people that will constantly be asking for signs and they get them every single time, but it's not enough for them. They don't trust that. It's like they just want more proof, more proof, more proof, more proof. And when you are seeking proof, that means you don't have trust. You have to step into trust. You have to step into your faith and not constantly be poking and seeing, are you real? Are you real? Are you real? So it's all choices. Um, it's profound. The life contracts are important, and this is what our teams will constantly be monitoring us to know what we're supposed to be learning and growing. And especially for those people who are original souls on this planet who want to master the 3D and all of the range of experiences here now, they've got a very big they've got a very big task on their hands, because they're feeling everything. They've got previous karma from other lifetimes that they're trying to squeeze out into this lifetime now. It is very, very, very purposeful what is happening. It's very significant. It is very challenging for them. And so many light workers and many, big demand, advanced souls who have mastered 3D in many different times can still be really struggling and challenged. We know the first wave is, most of those are very challenged with the density and the experiences, because they were ill prepared to be ready for this density, to ready for the emissions, to be ready to be able to be of service. And that's we have to be very compassionate towards them, because they were just not prepped. And I feel like
Yeah.
once you have something that's so traumatizing, just like the density of being here, and they knowing they've got this mission and this purpose, and it's very intensive. Their teams are driving them very firmly and hard, really pushing them. And sometimes we don't want to be pushed by anyone, including this internal
Hmm.
drive and this push. Is too exhausting. And so there's many things going on there, and our life contracts can be changed, because sometimes when we're not of service, we can be more detrimental to people than empowering them. So there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that our guides and our teams and our spiritual families and and all of those people that are supporting us and helping us through these life experiences, they've got a big job. They're busy and they're not just focusing on one person. They've, a whole collection of beings that they're helping support. So, you know, they seem very, very busy.
They sure do. Very busy. Lots of epiphanies happening for lots of people,
Mm. And
and the Nana gang.
so we want to be able to respect everything that we get prompted to do. So if we get prompted to reach out to someone or to connect in with someone or send someone love and healing and it's encouragement and support and empowerment, we have to be of service. Those random thoughts that just pop into our heads are not random thoughts. They are prompting from our teams to be able to be of service, to help others, support others, love each other. Don't judge each other. We're doing, those people who are in density judge themselves so much. We don't need to be doing it for them because they're already mastered that. So help them get out of judgment. And if you hear anyone talking badly about themselves or in a really negative talk, with love, remind them that sounds like you're being very hard on yourself, my friend, and let them know you don't see them like that. And so reassure them, help them. Learn the difference, though, of those people who are not wanting to truly empower themselves and they'll latch on to supportive friends and just have that feedback. We're wanting to empower everyone to love themselves and be responsible for self, not have these what we call energy vampires that will just seek love from other people and not do their own inner work, seek attention from others and not be able to give themselves the attention to grow. So there is a bit of a tricky line between empowering people and enabling people, but we know the difference quite quickly.
It's hard. It really is hard. But and it's hard also to be like, no, I'm not enabling. It's
Yeah.
on you. This is on you. It's your responsibility. Your inner work. We are going to love and support them, but we're not going to enable it and continue to have the same conversation over and over and over again. Then you actually put the work in.
It's good to be able to hear them completely the first time, but when they're starting to loop, that's a trigger. There's not a trigger, that's a sign to say they're still holding on to it for whatever reason. And sometimes people will want to hold on to an issue or an illness or a trauma or a tragedy just for that attention alone. They don't want to overcome it, they don't want to heal from it, they just want the trauma because it gives them so much attention and love. And so we've got to see what's going on there really. And, love from a distance if you feel like this person doesn't want to change but wants to drag you down into their density. And, there's a whole lot of other stuff going on there. It's way too hard to talk about every little situation. But this is why it's super important to be able to do our own inner work. It always comes back down to it that we can only be of service to the own inner work we have done. If we've strengthened ourselves to love ourselves, to be able to connect into our teams, to know what is the difference between intuition and then ego or fear-based stuff, we want to be the best that we are capable of doing. Yes, Erin, you're so right. It is hard, but we can make it so much easier when we do our own inner work to be able to recognize what's going on for them. Because if we're looping ourselves, we may not be able to recognize other people who are looping, and so we're dragging each other down into a death spiral of density. And we've all been there. It's not like we're very
Oh gosh, yes. Oh yeah. Oh no, I lived there. I have a mailbox there. I did.
were we neighbors? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. So much to share. We feel like we are excited to constantly talk about our own journey because this is stuff we've lived through. And we may not always get each conversation perfectly right, but it's about having conversations, allowing each other to know I'm here for you, I hear you, I see you, I love you, and you are safe. And together in our friendship, we are safe and we're growing and learning together. And, just try to find the positive words without being all there is that phoniness of, oh, love and light, and blah 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 blah. It gets real, it gets hard. The darkness that we can create in our own minds with the whole, I've given up, there is no hope, there is no faith, nothing ever good happens to me, all of that negative self-talk can be really strong with certain people. And so being able to just help them recognize what they're doing, because often it's such a almost bad habit now, or a repetitive habit, they're not even aware of it consciously. So sometimes it's really good to repeat what they're saying and ask it as a question. Do you really think that you're, bad at communicating, my friend? I can hear you really well. Be able to kind of just keep this dialogue going. uh, so hard, but I know it's very I know our teams are wanting us to be of service and to connect in more and not be afraid of anyone struggling, because they need us so much more than ever before. And so, don't look the other way. They are, we were lost at one point, and, just think about ourselves, what we could have had, what we would have loved actually when we were really confused and starting to think there was inconsistencies with what's happening in some areas where we were questioning quite firmly, what's that truth, that truth doesn't smell right.
Nothing smells right. Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, I thank you. Hopefully, we covered the best to our abilities what the significance of our life contracts. But it's more about just reminding ourselves we designed the life contracts for the significances and the purposes. And if I've already mastered the third dimension and we're here to be of service, we need to be here of service. It's not an accident we're here if we are volunteers to be of service. And so, whatever is popping up in your life and whoever is popping up in your life, whether it's a physical reminder or a mental reminder of these people that are significant to you and important to you, it's always a good idea to reach out to them just to see how they're doing and to send them love. Ultimately, we love everyone. We may not be always impressed with some people's behaviors, but we can overlook the past because today is important.
Bye.
Bye. Enjoy today. Love you guys.